All right, this is your 8-3 notes. It's over special right triangles. The first special triangle we're going to look at is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So what that means is that you have a right triangle, and here you have 45 degrees. The other one's going to be 45 degrees. Now, let's say you don't know a side, so we're going to call it x. So across the 45, I'm going to call this x, which means across this 45 is going to be x. I'm going to show you the proof of how we're going to get what your hypotenuse is and how this is a special relationship. Okay, so what I'm going to write down is this is your proof, and it's an easy proof. So you have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So we have x squared plus x squared equals c squared. So we have 2x squared is equal to c squared. And then we're going to take the square root of both sides. Well, when you do this, remember x squared is just x times x. Okay, and so what happens here is you have a pair that you can pull out, and you have a 2 left over. So across your 90 is going to be x square root of 2. So what this means is that for every 45, 90 triangle that you have, and I'm only going to write it down one time, 45, 90 triangle that you have, across the 45 is x, across the 90 is x square root of 2. Okay, this you have to have memorized. This is what you need to know. And I'm going to show you how to apply this to the 4 examples below. Okay, so starting here with number 1, you have a 45, 90 triangle, and so what you know is across the 45s is going to be 8, and you don't know what across the 90 is. Okay, that's why we have this x, and that's what we have to solve for. First thing you do is you write down your 45, 90, x square root of 2. The next thing you need to do is you write down what you know. Well, I know across from these 45s is 8, so across from the 45 is 8. So what this means is that x is equal to 8. So where I see this x, I need to write my 8. And you have a square root of 2, so you just copy down square root of 2. So we know x is equal to 8 square root of 2. So this up here is 8 square root of 2. Okay, we'll do a couple more to help you figure this little pattern out. So here's number 2. All right, first thing you need to do is you need to keep filling in your triangle. So if that's 45 and that's 90, I know this is 45 degrees. Okay, across my 45s I have x's. Across from my 90 is 3 square roots of 2. So this is what I know. So I'm going to go ahead and write out 45, 90, x square root of 2, and I know across the 90 is 3 square roots of 2. Well, since this has a square root of 2, since these match up right here, then what I know is that these match up. So that tells me that x is equal to 3, so x is equal to 3. So across from my 45s would be 3. So my answer is x is equal to 3. Okay, number 3. That's number 3. Okay, so for this one, I know this is a 45, I know this is a 45, 90, because my sides are x's, they're the same, so I know my base angles are going to be the same. It's an isosceles triangle, so those are going to be 45 degrees. Alright, and what we have now is I know across the 90 is 18, so this is what I know. Okay, so I'm going to write down 45, 90, x square root of 2. What I know is that across the 90 is 18. So here's the thing. Nothing matches up. There's not a square root of 2 to match up for this one. So what we're going to have to do is what I like to call the shortcut. Okay, so I'm going to do my shortcut over here. Shortcut says you take 18, multiply by the square root of 2, and divide it by 2. Okay, this is your shortcut. Right? So all you need to focus on is dividing 18 by 2. So 18 divided by 2 is 9, so that's 9 square roots of 2. Now, I can't show you how we are able to solve for this, like how we can prove the shortcut. So if you want me to show you that, just come ask me. I can show you that later. But for right now, all you need to know is your shortcut. So this right here, this 9 square root of 2, that is what x is. So x is 9 square root of 2. That's what it's asking me to find. That's across from your 45s. So x is equal to 9 square root of 2. Okay, last one for 4590. It says find the length of the hypotenuse of a 45-45-90 triangle with a leg length of 14 centimeters. First thing you should always do is draw a picture. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my right triangle on here. So right triangle, it tells me it's a 45-90, so 45-45-90, and it tells me that I have a leg length of 14 centimeters. So that means this is 14 centimeters and this is 14 centimeters. Okay, and I had to find the hypotenuse, so here's my x. So I'm going to write down 45-90, x, and then x square root of 2. I know, okay, across the 45s is 14, so you always write down what you know. Okay, well, since x is 14, then right here for this x, I just have to plug in 14. And then just bring on down the square root of 2. So that right there is my hypotenuse. Okay, so that's 45-90 triangles. Then last one that we're going to do is a 30-60-90 triangle. So I'm not going to show you the proof for this one because it's a lot more complex than the 45-90. But this is the relationship you need to know. Across the 30 is going to be x. Across the 60 is x square root of 3. And across the 90 is 2x. Okay, so this is what you need to know and memorize. 30, 60, 90, x, x square root of 3, and 2x. Okay, this you have to have this memorized for your tests, all the problems we're going to do, homeworks, etc. Makes it a lot easier. Okay, so we have 5 examples on this one, and then we are done with your notes. So number 1, first thing you need to do is fill out your 30, 60, 90 triangle. Okay, and then write down 30, 60, 90, x, x square root of 3, and 2x. Ask yourself, what do I know? Well, in this one, I know across the 30 is 8. So across from this 30 is 8. Right now, I know x is 8. So everywhere I see this x, I'm going to plug in 8. So this first one, we have 8, and then square root of 3. And then for 90, it's 2 times x. Well, x is 8, so 2 times 8 is 16. So here's 16. The question says, what is x equal to and what is y equal to? Okay, well, x right here, I'll change my color, x is across from the 60. So across from the 60, we have 8 square roots of 3. Y is across from the 90. Okay, so across from the 90 right here, we have 16. So there's your final answer. All right. Number 2, again, first thing you need to do is fill in your 30, 60, 90 triangle and write down 30, 60, 90, x, x square root of 3, and 2x. Next thing you need to do is write down what do you know. So looking at this picture, I know across the 90 is 11. So across the 90 is 11. Okay, we're going to focus right here on this piece. What this says is okay, 2x is equal to 11. So if I want to figure out what x is, divide both sides by 2, we get 5.5. Okay, so now I know x is 5.5, which means across the 60 is 5.5 square roots of 3. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and find x and y. So x is across the 30, so here I'm looking at my 30. So I know that x will equal to 5.5. And then I know my y is across the 60. So across the 60, this piece right here, 5.5 square root of 3 is equal to my y. Okay, number 3. So again, make sure the first thing that you need to do is fill in your triangle. And then write down your little shortcut, 30, 60, 90, x, x square root of 3, 2x. Plug in what you know. So what I know is across the 60 is 9 square roots of 3. Across the 60, I'm writing 9 square roots of 3. Okay, so from this, you can look right here and see since the square roots of 3 line up and are okay, then this in the front should be lined up and will give you your value of x. So x is equal to 9. So I'm going to write down 9 over here for x. So that means this is 2x. That's 2 times 9, which is 18. Okay, and we'll go ahead and solve this problem. So you have to figure out what x is equal to. X is across from the 30. So across from the 30, x is equal to 9. y is across from the 90, so y is equal to, across from the 90 right here is at 18, so y is equal to 18. Okay, number 4. Again, first thing you need to do is label your triangle and write down your shortcut. So 30, 60, 90, x squared root of 3, 2x. And then we're going to write down what we know. So I know across the 60 is 12. Across the 60 is 12. Okay, so there is no square root of 3 on here. It doesn't line up at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the shortcut. Okay, so your shortcut here is you're going to take this 12. So I'm going to write down shortcut. Okay, and you know how on 4590 we'll multiply it by the square root of 2 and divide it by 2? For this one, you just multiply by the square root of 3 and divide by 3. So again, just focus right here on 12 and 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4, so we have 4 square roots of 3. So that is what x is equal to, 4 square roots of 3. Okay, and then this 2x, all you have to do is 2 times 4 square roots of 3. So 2 times 4 is 8. So you have 8 square roots of 3. Now we need the answers for x. So x is across from the 30. So across the 30 is 4 square roots of 3. And across the y, 90 is across from the y. So my 90 here is 8 square roots of 3. And there's your final answer. All right, last one. An equilateral triangle has an altitude length of 36 feet. Determine the length of a side of the triangle. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt to draw, I should say, an equilateral triangle. Okay, and it says we have an altitude. Okay, well, first of all, let me go back. An equilateral triangle, what you need to know from this is that all of your angles are 60 degrees. So I'm just going to put 160 in here. Or actually, let me go ahead and put all 60s in here so that you know. These are all 60 degrees, okay? When you have an altitude right here, okay, this forms a 90 degree and that bisects the angle up here. So now what we have is 30, 60, 90. Okay, so we have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. This altitude was 36 feet. So I'm going to write 36 feet. And it wants to know what the length of the side is. So we're going to go ahead and write down 30, 60, 90. X squared root of 3, 2x. And we have right here that across from the 60 was this 36 feet. So across from the 60, I'm going to put 36. And we're going to go ahead and use the shortcut. So shortcut says you take 36, multiply by the square root of 3, divide by 3. 36 divided by 3 will give you 12. So we have 12 square roots of 3, and that's the value of x. So we have 12 square roots of 3. And then you have 2x, so 2 times that. So what that means is you're doing 2 times this 12 square roots of 3. So all you're focusing on is multiplying this 2 and 12, and that gives you 24 square roots of 3. So that's across your 90. Alright, so it wants just to know the length of a side. So the length of one side is across the 90 right here. So across my 90, I have 24 square roots of 3. And don't forget the length is, your units are feet. So 24 square roots of 3 feet, that's how long one side of the triangle is. Alright, and so that is it for your notes.